What if I told you the biggest mistake people make with manifestation isn't about what they do, but when they do it? You've been missing the most powerful window to change your life while you sleep. And tonight, that changes. Right now, you're probably trying to manifest during the day, visualizing affirmations, maybe journaling. But the truth, your subconscious is 90% more receptive at night. While you sleep, your brain isn't distracted by doubts, logic, or that voice saying, "This won't work." It's just open. So tonight, we're not just doing a meditation, we're reprogramming your mind in the exact state where real change happens. Let's begin. Most people think manifestation is about forcing things into reality. They grit their teeth, repeat affirmations like a robot, and wonder why nothing changes. But here's the hard truth. If your subconscious doesn't believe it, your conscious effort means nothing. That's why you can want something so badly, yet still feel blocked. Tonight we bypass that. No effort, no forcing, just alignment. The body before the mind. Lie down. Let yourself sink into the surface beneath you. Don't try to relax. Just notice. Notice the weight of your body pressing down. Your feet, your legs, your spine. The places where tension hides without you even realizing it. The mind follows the body. If your body is tense, your mind will be too. If your body is at ease, your thoughts slow down. So let go, inch by inch. Start with your toes. Feel them. Are they curled, gripping? Even if you think they're relaxed, look closer. There's always a little more to release. Let them go loose, heavy. Then your ankles, the subtle tension where your legs meet your feet, let that dissolve. Your calves, your knees, the places you don't even think about until you focus on them. That's where the real holding happens. Now your thighs, the heaviest part of your legs, feel them sinking, not forcing, just allowing. Your hips, where most people carry stress without knowing. If your hips are tight, your mind is tight, so let them open. Your lower back, the place that aches after a long day, imagine it softening, spreading out, supported by the ground beneath you. Each vertebra, one by one, the weight of your upper body resting on it. The places where you hunch without realizing, let them lengthen. Your shoulders, probably the tightest of all. Most people live with their shoulders up by their ears and never notice. Let them drop, really drop. Your arms, your hands, fingers uncurling. Your neck, the place where thoughts turn into physical tension. The tighter your neck, the noisier your mind. Let it go. Your jaw, are your teeth clenched even slightly? Your tongue pressed to the roof of your mouth? Release it. Your forehead, the space between your eyebrows, the last place we hold stress. Smooth it out. Now, your whole body is heavy, not because you forced it, but because you noticed it. You allowed it. And now your mind is quieter, not empty but slower. The thoughts are there, but they don't stick. They come and go, like clouds. This is the first step, not controlling the mind, but preparing the body, because the mind follows the body, always. Most people try to meditate starting with their thoughts. They sit down and immediately wrestle with their mind, fighting distractions, forcing focus. But that's like trying to calm a storm by shouting at the wind. It doesn't work. The body must come first. The deeper the body relaxes, the quieter the mind becomes. Not by force, but by natural progression. So tonight, we don't start with affirmations or visualizing. We start with the body. Because if your body is tense, no amount of mental effort will bring real change. But if your body is at ease, the mind follows effortlessly. And in that space where the body is soft and the mind is open, that's where real transformation begins. Feel the difference now. The weight, the stillness. The mind isn't empty, but it's no longer racing. Thoughts come, but they don't pull you away. This is the foundation, the unshakable ground we build on. Without this, manifestation is just wishing. With it, manifestation becomes inevitable. The illusion of control. You don't have to make anything happen. That's the first lie manifestation culture sold you. The idea that if you just try hard enough, visualize hard enough, affirm hard enough, the universe will bend to your will. But that's not how it works. The universe doesn't respond to force. It responds to alignment. Think about it. When you're desperate for something, when you're clinging to it, does it come or does it feel further away? That's not a coincidence. It's a sign. The more you try to control, the more you push it away. Because control is an illusion. You can't force the universe. You can't demand reality to change, but you can align with it. Tonight we're not begging for change. We're not visualizing from a place of lack, of I hope this happens. We're becoming the kind of person who already has it. The difference is everything. One comes from fear, the other from trust. One comes from effort, the other from surrender. Manifestation isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about controlling your state, your energy, your vibration. When you're aligned, when you're in the frequency of what you want, it doesn't feel like effort. It feels like inevitability, like remembering, not create. Most people get this backwards. They think if they just do the right thing, say the right words, follow the right steps, their desires will materialize. But that's like planting a seed and digging it up every day to check if it's growing. You're not helping. You're interfering. Real trust means planting the seed and walking away. It means knowing the soil will do its job. The sun will do its job. The rain will do its job. Your only job is to prepare the ground, your mind, your energy, and then let go. That's what we're doing tonight. Not forcing, not demanding, not clinging, just aligning, becoming the version of you that already has what you want. Because that version isn't anxious, isn't desperate, isn't trying to control every detail. That version is calm, certain, at peace. And when you're in that state, the universe responds differently, not because you've twisted its arm, but because you've matched its frequency. Like tuning a radio, you don't shout at the static to clear up, you adjust the dial. So tonight we are adjusting the dial. We're not visualizing from a place of I want. We're feeling from a place of I have. Not because we're pretending, but because we're preparing. The more you live in that energy, the more reality has no choice but to reflect it back. This isn't about effort. It's about allowing, and that's the hardest part for most people to accept, because we're taught that nothing happens without struggle, without force. But the truth, the deepest transformations happen in surrender, in trust, in letting go of the illusion that you're in charge. The universe knows what to do. Your subconscious knows what to do. Tonight we're getting out of the way and letting them work. The breath as an anchor. Breathe in and out. Not deep, not forced, just natural. Let the air move through you without effort, without control. Your breath is always there, steady, constant. The one thing you can always return to. It's the bridge between your thoughts and your subconscious. The deeper you sink into the rhythm of it, the quieter your mind becomes. Not because you're forcing it to be quiet, but because you're giving it something to focus on. That isn't noise. Most people think breathing is just something that happens. They don't realize it's the most powerful tool they have to shift their state. When you're stressed, your breath is shallow, quick, tight. When you're at peace, it's slow, deep, easy. But here's the thing. It works both ways. Your breath doesn't just reflect your emotions. It can change them, slow your breath, and your mind has no choice but to follow. So right now, don't try to control it. Don't force it to be deeper than it needs to be. Just notice it. Feel the air moving in through your nose, filling your lungs, then leaving again. The slight pause at the top, the slight pause at the bottom, the natural rhythm that's been there since the day you were born. Your mind will wander. That's okay. That's what minds do. But every time you notice it's wandered, come back to the breath, not with frustration, not with judgment, just gently, like a boat drifting on the water, always returning to anchor. The more you do this, the easier it becomes, not because you're getting better at forcing focus, but because you're getting better at letting go. This is the practice, not emptying the mind, but anchoring it, giving it a place to rest, so it doesn't spin out into endless thoughts. The breath is always there, always steady. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to make it happen. It's just there. And the more you tune into it, the more everything else fades into the background. This isn't about forcing calm, it's about allowing it. The breath knows what to do. Your body knows what to do. You don't have to micromanage it, just notice, just follow. And as you do, you'll feel the shift, not because you made it happen, but because you stopped getting in the way. The breath is the simplest thing in the world, and yet it's the most overlooked. We chase complex techniques, advanced methods, secret formulas, when the real key has been with us all along. You don't need anything else. Just this, just the rise and fall of your own breathing. Everything else is extra. So tonight, as you lie here, let the breath be your guide. Not something you control, but something you surrender to. Let it slow you down. Let it quiet the noise. Let it bring you back again and again to the present moment, because that's where real change happens. Not in the past, not in the future, but right here, right now, in the space between one breath and the next. The power of silence. Most meditations fill the space with words, instructions, affirmations, visualizations, constant noise to keep your mind occupied. But tonight we do something different. Tonight we use silence just as much as sound, because in the gaps between words, in the spaces where nothing is being said, that's where your subconscious does its real work. Silence isn't empty, it's full. It's where the mind settles, where the deeper layers of awareness rise to the surface. When you're constantly being told what to think, what to imagine, what to feel, you're never giving yourself the chance to hear what's already there. The wisdom that doesn't need to be spoken. The knowing that doesn't come from outside, but from within. So tonight we don't fill every second with sound. We let the silence in. We trust it. We don't rush to fill it with more words, more guidance, more noise. We let it be. And in that stillness, something happens. Something you can't force. Something you can't plan. The mind begins to unwind on its own. The thoughts slow. The resistance fades, not because you're trying to make it happen, but because you've stopped trying altogether. This is the hardest thing for most people, to be still, to be quiet, to let go of the need for constant stimulation. We're so used to noise, to distraction, to always having something to focus on that real silence feels uncomfortable at first. Like something's missing, but nothing's missing. The silence isn't a lack, it's a presence. It's the space where everything else settles. So tonight, when the words fade, don't rush to fill the space. Don't reach for another thought, another image, another distraction. Just be here, just listen, not to anything outside, but to the quiet inside. That's where the real shift happens. Not in the words, but in the spaces between them. The subconscious doesn't need constant instruction. It doesn't need to be told what to do every second. It knows it's always working, always processing, always moving you toward what you need. If you let it, the more you fill the space with noise, the harder it is for that deeper knowing to rise up. But when you allow silence, when you trust it, that's when the real magic happens. So tonight we don't over-explain, we don't over-guide, we speak when needed, and we let the silence do the rest. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. Just be, just listen, just let go. And in that surrender, everything else falls into place. Letting go of how. Your job isn't to figure out how it'll happen. Your job is to decide it will. That's the shift. That's where most people get stuck. They try to control the path instead of trusting the destination. They obsess over the steps, the details, the perfect sequence of events that will lead them to what they want. But here's the truth. The how isn't your problem. The how is the universe's problem. And the universe is much better at figuring it out than you are. Think about it. When you plant a seed, do you stand over it, demanding to know exactly how it will grow? Do you stress about the angle of the roots, the timing of each leaf, the precise moment the stem breaks through the soil? No, you plant it, you water it, you trust the process. You know the seed contains everything it needs, the intelligence, the blueprint, the life force, to become what it's meant to be. Your only job is to provide the right conditions and then step back. It's the same with manifestation. You are the planter, not the architect. You don't need to know how the bridge will be built between where you are and where you want to be. You don't need to map every turn, anticipate every obstacle, or micromanage the journey. That's not your role. Your role is to decide, to plant the seed of intention and then release the need to control how it grows. This is where the real work happens. Not in the planning, but in the surrendering. Most people can declare what they want, but few can truly let go of how it arrives. They cling to their limited ideas of what's possible, their narrow visions of how things should unfold. And in that clinging, they block the very thing they're trying to create. Because the universe doesn't work in straight lines. It works in spirals, in detours, in ways that often make no sense until you're on the other side, looking back. Tonight we practice letting go, not as an act of giving up, but as an act of supreme trust. We release the burden of needing to know, needing to control, needing to orchestrate every detail. We plant our intention, clear, focused, unwavering, and then we step back. We do our part, and we trust the universe to do its part. This doesn't mean we become passive. It means we become discerning. We take inspired action when it feels right, but we don't force action out of fear or impatience. We show up, but we don't manipulate. We move, but we don't hustle. We allow the path to unfold. instead of trying to carve it ourselves. The irony is that the moment you truly release the how, the moment you stop straining to see the entire staircase and simply take the first step with faith, that's when the magic happens. That's when doors open you didn't even know existed. That's when people show up, opportunities arise, and synchronicities occur in ways you could never have planned. So tonight, we don't visualize the steps. We don't strategize the path. We hold the end result, the feeling, the state, the knowing, and we let the universe handle the rest. We don't need to know how the pieces will come together. We just need to know they will. The mirror of emotions. If you're frustrated, anxious, or doubtful, good, that's not a sign you're doing it wrong. That's the resistance leaving. That's the old patterns, the old fears, the old limitations rising to the surface so they can be released. Most people make the mistake of fighting these emotions, of judging them, of trying to push them away. But here's the truth. The more you try to suppress them, the louder they get. Emotions are not obstacles. They're mirrors. They show you where you're still holding on, where you're still resisting, where you're still not quite believing in what you're trying to manifest. When frustration comes up, it's not because the universe isn't listening. It's because part of you still doubts it will. When anxiety surfaces, it's not because you're failing. It's because part of you is still attached to the old version of reality. These emotions aren't your enemies, they're your teachers. They're showing you the exact places where your alignment isn't complete, where your trust isn't total. And the way through isn't to fight them, but to acknowledge them, to sit with them, to let them move through you without making them mean anything about your progress or your worth. Tonight we don't bypass the discomfort. We don't skip straight to forced positivity. We meet whatever comes up with curiosity, not judgment. When doubt creeps in, we don't shame ourselves for it. We notice it. We observe it. We ask, what is this doubt trying to protect me from? What old story is it attached to? And then we let it go, not by force, but by understanding. This is how real transformation happens. Not by pretending the shadows don't exist, but by bringing light to them. Not by avoiding the resistance, but by moving through it. Every emotion that surfaces tonight is an opportunity to release, to heal, to realign. The frustration isn't blocking your manifestation. It's clearing the path for it. The anxiety isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth. So when these feelings come, don't resist. Don't distract yourself. Don't rush to affirm them away. Breathe into them, feel them fully, and then let them pass, like a wave that crashes and then recedes, leaving the shore clearer than before. The most powerful work happens in these moments. Not when everything feels easy, but when you stay present with what doesn't. That's where the real shifts occur. That's where the old patterns lose their grip. That's where you prove to yourself, not in theory but in experience, that you can feel fear and still trust, feel doubt and still believe, feel resistance and still move forward. Tonight we don't chase away the shadows, we sit with them until they reveal their gifts, and then we watch as they dissolve on their own, not because we fought them, but because we stopped seeing them as threats and started seeing them as allies in our transformation. The garden of the mind. Imagine your mind as a garden, not just any garden, a living, breathing space where every thought you entertain takes root and grows. Some thoughts are like weeds. They sprout up unwanted, spreading quickly, choking out the plants you actually want to cultivate. Others are like delicate flowers. They need care, attention, and the right conditions to thrive. Tonight we're not just planting any seeds, we're planting seeds of already having, not wanting. Feel the difference. When you plant a seed of wanting, what grows? More wanting. The energy of lack, the feeling that something is missing. That seed might grow into a plant, but it will always bear the fruit of not enough. But when you plant a seed of already having, something else happens. You shift from longing to belonging, from hoping to knowing. The garden of your mind starts to reflect a reality where what you desire isn't some distant dream. It's already here, already yours, already real. This isn't about pretending. It's about embodying. When you plant a seed in the earth, you don't stand there demanding proof that it will grow. You don't dig it up every day to check. You trust the process. You water it, you give it sunlight, you believe in what you can't yet see. That's what we're doing tonight. We're not just imagining what we want, we're feeling what it's like to already have it. We're not visualizing from a place of emptiness, but from a place of fullness. Close your eyes. See your mind as this vast, fertile space. Every thought you've ever had has left its mark. Some parts of the garden are overgrown with old fears, old doubts, old stories that no longer serve you. Other parts are bare, waiting for new seeds to be planted. Tonight we're clearing away the weeds, not by fighting them, but by no longer feeding them. We're turning our attention to the soil, preparing it for something new. Now plant the seed, not I wish, not I hope, but I have. Feel the difference in your body when you think those words. I have carries a weight, a certainty, a quiet power that I want can never touch. It's not desperate, it's not hungry, it's calm, it's sure. It's the feeling of someone who knows deep down that what they desire is already theirs. This is how the mind works. It doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. With enough emotional intensity, when you plant a seed of already having, your subconscious accepts it as truth. It starts arranging your reality to match that belief. Opportunities appear, synchronicities unfold, people and resources show up in ways you couldn't have predicted, not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. So tonight, we're not just thinking about our desires, we're living in them. We're walking through the garden of our mind as if it's already full of what we've planted. We're not waiting for proof, we're being the proof. The art of non-attachment. This isn't about clinging to an outcome. It's about trusting the process, like planting a seed and walking away. You don't dig it up to check if it's growing. You don't hover over it, demanding to see progress. You plant it, you water it, you let it be. That's the art of non-attachment. The understanding that some things can't be forced, only allowed. Most people struggle with this. They want guarantees. They want timelines. They want to know exactly when and how their desires will manifest. But that's not how life works. The universe doesn't operate on our schedules. It doesn't follow our scripts. It moves in its own time, in its own way, and the more we try to control it, the more we slow it down. Non-attachment isn't indifference. It's not about not caring. It's about caring deeply, but without desperation. It's the difference between holding something with an open palm and clutching it in a white-knuckled grip. One allows movement, flow, life. The other suffocates. Tonight, we practice letting go, not of our desires, but of our need to control how they come to us. We hold our intentions lightly, like feathers, not like stones. We don't obsess over the when or the how. We focus on the what and the why, and we trust the universe to handle the rest. This is where real power lies, not in forcing outcomes, but in aligning with them, not in demanding, but in allowing. When you can want something without needing it, that's when it comes. When you can desire without attachment, that's when the magic happens. So tonight, we plant our seeds, we water them with our attention, our belief, our feeling, and then we walk away. We don't dig them up, we don't second guess, we trust, we let go. And in that letting go, we create the space for everything we've ever wanted to finally find its way to us. The frequency of gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a step in manifestation. It's the entire staircase. Most people treat it like a box to check, something to quickly acknowledge before moving on to the real work of visualizing and affirming. But that misses the point completely. True gratitude isn't an action, it's a frequency. It's not something you do, it's something you become. Tonight we're not just going to list things we're thankful for. We're going to shift into the vibrational state where gratitude isn't forced, it's automatic, where thankfulness isn't practiced, it's present in every breath. When you're truly grateful, something happens in your energy field. Your entire being relaxes into a state of receiving. You stop pushing against reality and start flowing with it. Resistance melts away. This is why gratitude works. Not because you're tricking the universe with positive thinking, but because you're aligning yourself with the natural state of abundance. Lack can't exist in the same space as genuine gratitude. They cancel each other out like light and darkness. Tonight we're not visualizing from a place of wanting, we're feeling from a place of having. Close your eyes and imagine something you deeply desire. Now, instead of seeing it as something separate from you, something you hope to get, feel what it would be like to already have it. That warmth in your chest, that deep exhale of relief, that quiet knowing that everything is already yours. That's the frequency of gratitude. Not thank you for what I might get, but thank you for what I already have. This is where most people get stuck. They try to be grateful for things they don't yet have, and it feels hollow. The trick isn't to pretend. It's to recognize that, on some level, what you desire already exists in the quantum field, in the realm of potential. It's already real. Your gratitude isn't for the physical manifestation. It's for the truth that it's already done. This subtle shift changes everything. As you breathe tonight, let each inhale draw in that feeling of already having what you seek. Let each exhale release any doubt that it's possible. Feel the gratitude not as an emotion you create, but as a state you inhabit, like slipping into warm water. Let it surround you completely. This isn't about forcing a feeling. It's about allowing yourself to remember what true abundance feels like. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Soon, you won't need to do gratitude at all. You'll simply be grateful. And in that space, manifestation isn't something you work at. It's something that happens through you. The staircase of gratitude leads you naturally to everything you desire, because what you're really seeking isn't the thing itself. It's the feeling that the thing will give you. And gratitude is that feeling, available right now. The sleep shift as you drift off. Something remarkable happens in your brain. The busy beta waves of daytime thinking begin to fade, replaced by slower, deeper theta waves. This is the threshold state. Not quite awake, not quite asleep, the place where hypnosis works best, where habits form most easily, where real, lasting change begins to take root. This is when tonight's meditation does its most powerful work, not while you're fully conscious, but in this twilight space where your subconscious is most receptive. Most people waste this precious time. They either fight sleep, scrolling on their phones until they pass out, or they collapse into bed exhausted, giving no thought to what enters their mind in these final moments. But these are the most important minutes of your day. What you allow into your consciousness as you fall asleep lingers in your subconscious all night, shaping your beliefs, your expectations, your very reality. Tonight we're using this time differently. As your body relaxes and your mind begins to let go, the words you hear won't just be listened to, they'll be absorbed. They'll bypass your critical thinking mind and go straight to the place where real transformation happens. This is why people often find that guided sleep meditations work better. It's not that the meditation is more powerful, but that you're in a state where resistance is lower, where acceptance is higher. Feel yourself sinking deeper now, not trying to sleep, but allowing sleep to come. The words will continue, but you don't need to focus on them. They'll do their work whether you're fully aware of them or not. Like seeds planted in fertile soil, they'll take root in your subconscious and grow in their own time. Your only job is to let go, to trust, to allow. This theta state is where miracles happen, where old patterns release their grip, where new beliefs take hold. It's the brain's natural reprogramming mode, and tonight we're using it intentionally. As you drift closer to sleep, know that every word is being imprinted at the deepest level of your being, not through effort, but through surrender, not through force, but through allowing. The most powerful changes often happen when we're not trying to make them happen, when we're not straining or striving or pushing. They happen in these quiet moments between wakefulness and sleep, when the door to the subconscious swings open wide. Tonight, we're walking through that door together, not to force anything, but to allow everything. As sleep carries you away, know that the work continues. Your subconscious never sleeps. It's always listening, always absorbing, always rearranging itself to match the new patterns you've introduced. By morning, something will have shifted. Maybe you'll notice it immediately. Maybe it will reveal itself gradually, but the change has already begun. In this sacred space between words and silence, between waking and dreaming, between who you were and who you're becoming, let go now. The meditation will continue, but you don't need to follow it. Your subconscious knows what to do. Your body knows how to sleep. Your mind knows how to heal. Trust the process. The most powerful work happens when you're not trying to make it happen. So stop trying. Just be, and let the shift occur. Right now, you're at the edge. The part where most people quit, where the mind says, is this even working? That's the exact moment it starts working. The moment you stop trying, the moment you stop doubting, the moment you just let go. That's when the shift happens. Tonight, you didn't just listen to a meditation. You rewired your subconscious in its most receptive state. And from now on, every time you listen, that rewiring goes deeper. This isn't a one-time fix. It's a new way of being.